Hello and welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Soccer Show. We're talking Wednesday's Premier League slate, 4-game slate. That's right. I'm joined by Ryan Belongia. I am Adam Zdroik. Ryan, welcome into the show. We got a nice little midweek contest here. How are we feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. Before we get into it, I think we should just tell everybody DraftKings still hasn't released any contests, so we haven't really been able to, make lineups or look at constructions. We've seen most of the pricing, but yeah, so it's a little different trying to analyze the slate before the contests come out. But I think we'll do okay. It seems, relatively straightforward from a cash perspective. Tournaments, not so much, but just for a little overview, it's one of those Manchester City slates. They're the biggest favorite at home against Brighton. They have the highest implied goal total. Next is Chelsea, home to Arsenal. They're minus 116, but 2.5 total in that game. And then Everton are slight home favorites to Leicester, and Newcastle slight home favorites against Palace. Neither of both the Everton City or the Everton Leicester game 2.5 total, the Newcastle Palace game 2.25 total. So, it's one of those slates. Unfortunately, at least for cash games, it's probably how much Manchester City can you fit. I don't know, unless you have a different perspective.
That's kind of what we're looking at. We'll see what the lineups look like with De Bruyne and such in there. I mean, we may see a lineup where we could have Gundogan on set pieces, and I guess that would point more people towards Manchester City even. But we'll see how things look. Yeah, I mean, you could look at like as this Everton Leicester City match. Like we got James Madison here, and he played 30 minutes over the weekend, so 9,300. I mean, you're comparing him to, I mean, De Bruyne's 9,500 here. So I guess that goes back to your point of would you rather play Madison away from home or De Bruyne at home? So, uh, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting for tournaments. There's quite a few midfielders that look pretty good. So there's going to be some decisions to be made, and they're expensive too. And just at first glance, there doesn't seem to be much value overall on the slate. So you're going to have to leave a lot of good options out. I don't know if spend up at both midfield positions, but then you might not be able to afford Mahrez. You might not be able to afford defenders. So those are the tough decisions on this slate.
Yeah, just in terms of that Manchester City Brighton match, I know Brighton people look at some recent results and their form, and winning what back to back at Arsenal, Tottenham, and they're really selling that. Oh yeah, we own North London and all this, but this is Manchester City, and last season Brighton did win. Was it the last second to last game week? Brighton won 3-2. Uh, of course, Cancelo went out in the 10th minute with a red card. But other than that, in this matchup, Manchester City has pretty much dominated. If you just look at any recent results, they won 4-1 earlier in the season. Last season in Manchester is 1-0. Maybe not as dominant, but before that, 5-0, 4-0. So you can see a world in which this match does go to one of those, Manchester City domination, 4-0, 5-0. I mean, it could also happen where it's 1-0 or 2-0. So I wouldn't say Brighton are going to win, but I'm just saying the possibilities of a 1-0, 2-0. I think that it's not like a must to have Manchester City in cash games just because of Brighton do like to hold on to the ball. They are a good defensive team. They are playing well. So, I mean, you could say that like the Chelsea, you could prioritize like some Chelsea guys ahead of Manchester City. I mean, depending on what your bill looks like, because I think this is a great spot for Chelsea here. Arsenal not playing well due to injuries. I feel like the odds are kind of going towards Chelsea's way a little bit, but I guess starting at forward here again, a little more difficult than usual to talk about. But we got Mahrez here, 10.3K. He's going to be in your article. Does your thoughts on Mars change at all if De Bruyne is in or out?
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, what do you think? If De Bruyne is out, Mahrez, takes a few more sets? I don't know. I think it's probably the same. He doesn't normally run over to the left side and take those corners, I don't think. But yes, so starting at forward. So I think it's helpful, like just from a process of elimination, just to sort of go process of elimination from a cash game perspective. So like take the Chelsea Arsenal game. There's no forwards in that game that you would want to pay for cash or play in cash. Stop me if you disagree. So then we have Crystal Palace. They have
I
no
think
forward for cash.
Timo Werner 7,000. I guess you're comparing the Chelsea guys with Bernardo Silva at
Like
66.
Timo's a respectable price now. He's not 5,700 anymore. So yeah, he's in good form, but I still I wouldn't say it's a cash game play.
Mm-hmm.
So just say we have no one on Chelsea and Arsenal, no Palace forwards, no Brighton forwards, no Leicester forwards. So that leaves Everton, maybe Richarlison. Maybe you could say Richarlison, and Newcastle. Maybe you could say Chris Wood, only because he's 4,500. If he was 6K, no way. So then you have the City forwards, which is Bernardo, Foden, Mahrez. So you have those three: Richarlison, Chris Wood. I mean, is there anyone else I'm leaving out? I mean, is anyone else that you're considering for cash? I mean, it'd have to be someone cheap. Again, we don't have the slate up, so maybe I've overlooked some people.
You got, if Nketiah starts again, he's 4,000. But I mean, that's at Chelsea. Lacazette 6,100.
Okay,
no,
yeah. I mean,
there's
that's
not.
I thought if Lacazette didn't make the squad, like 4K for Nketiah, that's just
Sure. Go ahead.
Right. It's probably actually a little bit worse than Chris Wood. Maybe he has like a slightly higher floor, but I don't even know.
Man, yeah, it is. It is definitely rough because we don't. I guess Ryan Fraser wasn't even a forward, anyways. I mean, would we even look at 5,700 Jolinton? I mean, sure, he's a midfielder. I mean, but he's cheap, home.
Actually, I mean, sure. Like that.
There's
Yeah,
a
it's not the worst. It's not the
there's
worst.
a slight chance that Eberici easy starts, but I think he went a full 90 on Sunday. He's probably not going to start, but it's at least possible because he did just start. So
Yeah, good point. If he did for what 4,600, I mean, yeah, you can kind of just plug him into your cash lineup. I would think absolutely.
Well, on the other end of that, what about like between Daka and Iheanacho here, like 6,600, 5,800? This is against Everton. This isn't sure Everton they're favored by a surprising margin here, but this is Everton. Like, I'm not sold on their back line just yet. So
right, yeah, those guys are cheap. So like they're acceptable, I guess, but it's almost like at that point
just go with Chris Wood kind of a thing.
Chris Wood, yeah. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate, but there's not that much of a difference. I mean, Wood even has better goal scoring odds than Iheanacho and Daka, who don't really have much of a floor either. I mean, yeah, Iheanacho's floor is higher than Wood's, but I think probably at that point you just go with Chris Wood.
Yeah, you're still kind
of.
of.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't play both. Like I don't know though. Like you probably want a City piece actually. Foden only 7,400.
This is almost like, well, we always talk about Bernardo Silva as like tournament only because he's a guy who's going to get 30 points or he's going to get 3 points. But I mean, at 6,600, maybe even consider him for cash games because like he's the same price as these other guys, and it's not like he still has good goal odds. Like he's plus 185, and like that's as good. That's the same as Kai Havertz, who's 7,900. So
yeah, I agree. As someone, especially as someone who rarely plays Bernardo in anything, I agree though. He 6,600. There's just not much else. He's fine.
Yeah, so I guess you're going to mention Foden. So again, we got to go back to if De Bruyne isn't in, does that move up Foden to more
I would
value? You
say
think?
yeah. Just I would say yeah, slightly. Over the last few games, he hasn't really been taking any corners anymore. There was a while where he was taking 2 or 3 every match, but yeah, if De Bruyne was out, maybe he would take the ones on the other side. It also could be Gundogan, but yeah, I think Foden would get a slight bump. Either way, he's 7,400, cheapest we've seen in a long time. Much more attacking than Bernardo Silva, so like a little bit higher upside. So yeah, I wouldn't mind Foden for that price.
Foden took 3 of 5 corners on Saturday against Liverpool, but
Oh, in the cup game.
Gundogan didn't start and Mars didn't start. So Mars took one off the bench, and then Grealish took one as well. So
Okay, yeah. So Foden took most of them without Mahrez and De Bruyne. Yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, I mean, but otherwise, yeah, like you said, just the corners aren't there. Just because of, I think it's De Bruyne has been healthy, so he's been playing a lot, and that kind of takes away. Uh, like I mean, Foden, what he was up to, 9K. He was up to almost
At least,
Mahrez's and De Bruyne's
yeah,
price earlier.
yeah.
But
And
I,
the corners, I think we should say that the corners aren't that important. I think for City, we overrate them a bit. I mean, yeah, so De Bruyne and Mahrez, I don't know what they get, 4 corners each or something. Maybe not even. But City just have so much possession and create so many chances that they have a floor even without those sets, and you're not like relying on those sets for them to get there. I mean,
yeah, I
they're
think the
scoring 3
corners are
goals
just like a
a game.
boost, really, a
Yeah,
boost to make it easier for us to select them, kind of a thing.
yeah, definitely. I mean, every little bit helps for the floor.
I would say there have been times where I feel like corners have been a lot of what Mahrez has done, at least in Champions League. He's scoring a lot, but he does have like these big corner games where that definitely boosts him more. Like it must be just because of the rotation, but like when you have De Bruyne and Foden and Gundogan and stuff, like those guys are usually splitting set pieces. But I feel like there's games where Mahrez is the only one taking set pieces. Almost it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look quick.
Yeah, he's
Um,
like he took 8 at Norwich. He took 8 against Leicester. He took 8 against Aston Villa. Like he's taken 8, which is, I mean, it's more than most of like what like Foden's probably, I don't know, maxed out at 5. He was up at 6 early in the season when De Bruyne wasn't playing, and I don't think De Bruyne usually takes 5 plus corners every match. So I feel like, yeah, I'm looking through De Bruyne now, but yeah, I feel like I guess it just depends on the lineup. Foden went 90 on Saturday, so maybe there's a chance that like Mahrez is the only, like he's there with Gundogan, some kind of thing like that, where like maybe he is going to be on more set pieces than we think. But
I mean, okay, maybe. I'm not really seeing these numbers, but maybe they're from earlier in the year. Here's last 14 games. Mahrez has never taken more than 4.
oh well,
So,
I'm just talking about like throughout the season,
right, I know what you mean.
like
But
he has the upside of 8 corners, whereas like the other
sure,
guys
sure.
don't.
I mean, through right, sure. Everyone, yeah.
I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm getting like an 8 corner gain from De Bruyne. Morris had 8 corners against Norwich early in the season. Foden and Gundogan started. Gundogan took 4. Foden didn't take any. So there
So
you go.
what are you saying?
I'm saying maybe
That,
Mahrez is worth the 10.3K without De Bruyne, but if they're both in, I'd just go De Bruyne because he's 800 cheaper.
okay, yeah, I think you're right. If De Bruyne wasn't in, I think it is a slight boost to Mahrez. I guess I said not really at the start, but it probably is. And if they're both in, yeah, I'm definitely taking Mahrez. Or sorry, KDB. Definitely taking KDB.
All right. So in terms of tournaments here, we talked. I mean, the tournaments would Bernardo Silva. I mean, I mentioned him in cash games, but how popular is he going to be at 6,600 in tournaments? Do you think he's going to get more looks than usual, or because you have, I mean, a pretty good range here below of like you have the Chelsea guys, like you have the possibility like a Chelsea went and scoring 3 goals, like you have that possibility, and I mean, I guess any of these games really could have goals. It's kind of I don't know what to say, funky matchups, but like you have the one thing I'll say about this Everton Leicester City match. Leicester City have been rotating every game because they've been playing Europa Conference League midweek, and they're going to
Mhm.
have their better, I'd say, their preferred back line in this game, which is Johnny Evans and Wesley Fofana. So I will say that while we will be talking about Anthony Gordon later, in case like you're looking at Calvert-Lewin or something like that, who I mean sure go ahead in tournaments, but he just hasn't been very good. But does anyone stand out here just in terms of like would you look at the Arsenal guys? How
For
much are we
tournament,
looking
yeah.
at Newcastle
Um,
here? Or
well,
even
starting with
Zaha?
yeah, you were asking if Bernardo was going to be like popular or more popular. I don't really think so. He's just one of those guys that just people don't like to roster. So yeah, he'll still probably be the least popular city piece.
There's a
I do kind of
slight chance he's like playing as like a forward, a number 9 kind of thing. But I mean,
yeah.
obviously the formation's fluid and everything, but that is like when he's listed like that, he does play more forward than like a deeper midfield position when like De Bruyne and whoever else is in there getting
Right.
forward kind of
And
thing.
that's
So
when you want to roster him. So yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. If that's a good point. Check out this formation for City. Yeah, it definitely affects Bernardo because he can play in different places.
Yeah.
Um,
So I want to say about that. So Man City, their website, they actually usually list out how they think they're going to line up, how the social media team thinks they're going to line up, and for the most part, it's correct. So I like if you have a question about it, I go there, or again, we have a Discord where I usually try and give out what I think the formations are. So
awesome. Yeah. Um, so Everton, I kind of do like Everton. You mentioned Anthony Gordon, who I also like, and regardless what team Leicester's going to play, if I'm going to have Anthony Gordon, I'll probably want Richarlison or Calvert Lewin with him at least in some lineups. So I like the Everton forwards. Yeah, Timo, that Chelsea Arsenal game, Timo's been in really good form. So Arsenal, yeah, they were pretty much in the driver's seat for top 4. Now they've lost to Palace, Brighton, and Southampton uh, in consecutive matches. You know, I should almost remember. Didn't I say like no? That was James Ward-Prowse. I should almost not be allowed to talk about the Arsenal game, being an Arsenal fan, but I could see this being sort of a letdown spot for Chelsea. They beat Palace in the Cup semifinal, and prior to that, they lost a crazy game to Madrid in the Champions League. Arsenal, they'll be up for it. I mean, they have to be. So I don't. I think it's kind of be. I think it's going to be like a tight game. Cagey, maybe not a lot of chances. Of course, that all goes out the window if there's an early goal. So yeah, I'm not like in that game. You know, it'll be relatively popular, probably the next most popular after Manchester City. I mean, I would think so. I don't know. I probably won't have much of the forwards in that game. I'll have to play some Chris Wood for 4,500 because I kind of always do until they raise his price. I mean, he scored a few goals recently, and he's probably on PK on
he
PK.
is, yeah,
He
that's
took
how he scored. That's how he
PK.
scored his last one.
Right. So, I mean, they're favorites. They've been playing well. Their center forward takes PKs, and he's 4,500. I mean, regardless of what you think of Chris Wood, it's just too cheap. You kind of got to play him on a few lineups if you're entering multiple teams.
Yeah,
What do you think?
in terms of that Arsenal game, we talked about it. Kits and Wagers, our betting show that we do also at RotoWire. They've actually that was one of my best bet is Chelsea to win. Except my best bet is on it loses every time. You fade my best bet. That's how you win.
Oh,
So
that's good news for Arsenal
that's
then.
good. Yeah, but the odds have gone. Chelsea was last week. They're minus 105. It's currently yesterday is minus 110. It's currently minus 120. So Chelsea are getting money, whatever that means. But like you said, it is relevant that Arsenal have, they have more to play for, because Chelsea are just sitting there third in the table. They aren't really too scared about dropping below fourth, and they don't have a chance for top two. So they don't have as much to play for. So that is something. I mean, if that's the case, I wonder if they actually rotate, and if they rotate, then maybe then we can talk about going Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli kind of a thing. So,
Yeah,
but
good point. The odds have been moving in Chelsea's favor. It's probably just a reflection of people being so down on Arsenal more so than Chelsea. I don't know. I
yeah,
mean,
it
Arsenal's kind of in shambles, They got some injuries. They can't score goals. They don't have a center forward. They don't have Thomas Partey. They don't have Kieran Tierney. I mean, it doesn't look great. So yeah, Chelsea. I mean, if Chelsea come out and play like they did against Real Madrid, they could thrash Arsenal 3-0 easily. So yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be surprising either.
yeah, I mean, otherwise, I don't know. At forward, there isn't really anything that stands out. You could look to Crystal Palace has been off and on. I feel like whenever I go against them away from home, like they show up, and then when I don't, like they're terrible. So they've been kind of tricky, but so I mean, these matchups are just difficult, I think, which is why more people are really leaning on Manchester City. Um, I guess Harvey Barnes. He's still got midfield only for Harvey Barnes, but let's go to midfielder here. We got De Bruyne. We pretty much talked about all there is need to talk about with him, but we got uh, what am I looking at here? Is this correct? I'm seeing Foden is midfield only.
No, you have an M in the filter. Oh, I see that as well. Yeah.
So it's either something is wrong with the lines getting mixed up with DraftKings, or
Or
DraftKings
maybe
has
they
moved
switched Foden.
Foden. Yeah, so Foden may be midfield only at 7,400. I was going to mention Jack Grealish. Though he did just start over the weekend, he's 5,700. I guess just we can go to Anthony Gordon here. So Anthony Gordon, Everton, our home, 7,300. You got Anthony Gordon. I mentioned James Madison earlier. I assume if we're spending up for any of these Man City guys, it makes more sense that Anthony Gordon's just going to be more popular than James Madison at a 2K discount.
Yeah, exactly. And there's Mason Mount there as well for 9K, who's been on fire.
There are options.
Completely on fire. Yeah. So you're right, though. And I agree. Anthony Gordon, you got to save some salary somewhere. And Gordon's been in good form too, taking most of the sets. Everton in a pretty decent spot. So yeah, I think you roster one of those expensive guys, De Bruyne, at least in cash games, and then Anthony Gordon. If Foden were also just midfield, yeah, there's a lot of midfield eligible guys. But yeah, I think it's weird because there's so many options to say it straightforward. But I would just roster De Bruyne and Anthony Gordon. I don't know. It seems just based on the price, like De Bruyne's priced too closely to Mount and Madison.
Are you putting anything into this calf/ankle injury? So it's not muscular. It seems like it's only like he got kicked on the calf or something, and he had something. It's not muscular, but are you putting anything into maybe he's not going to go full 90?
I think you could factor. I think so. There's like guesswork like that. I think you can factor it into your decision for tournaments. But like for cash games, I probably wouldn't try to think about things like that because De Bruyne is going to be popular. So what you're going to sort of galaxy brain yourself into fading him, and then he's going to put up 30 and you're done. Now I agree though. We've seen De Bruyne get subbed early. Like it happens, rather frequently. So I don't know. I haven't really seen anything about his health, but City are in a title race. They just got eliminated from the cup. I mean, these games are huge. When I pretty much go by the theory of if a guy starts, he's pretty much 100%. Obviously, there are exceptions, but if he starts, that's good enough for me.
So we got Gordon in that range. I don't know about Nicholas Pepe here. I wonder, Nicholas Pepe, is he going to start? Maybe Arsenal got their injuries. Maybe Arteta will throw a wrench in, but we still got other guys here. There's a chance Olisa comes back into the starting 11, 7,800. Damari Gray, 8,300. We didn't mention Miguel Almiron. There's a chance he starts again, 5,200. He's midfield forward. And so I wrote an article Sunday, Bruno Guimaraes, 7K. I basically said, like, he can't keep scoring. And
And he had two?
I think he was 6,800. He had 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was, I still don't think he can keep scoring. I think he's overpriced because, I mean, his goals, one was a 95th minute diving header, and the other, like, he was having a kicking battle with Schmeichel in net,
Yep.
who couldn't hold on to the ball. So
Yep.
I still think he's too expensive, but there's
I
your
do
GPP.
too, man. I watched the game. I saw those goals. I played the DraftKings slate. I did not play him. So yeah, it didn't go well. Yeah, I don't think he can either. And he's just like overpriced. He's a really good player, a really good signing, but he's pretty dependent on a goal or an assist to get there. So he's okay for tournaments. He won't be popular, but
yeah, we haven't talked about Conor Gallagher in a long time, it seems like, but he's going to be rested. He didn't play over the weekend. I think his value is gone if Olisa also starts, but like, we haven't been talking about him because Crystal Palace have had a pretty difficult schedule. April 10th at Leicester, before that Arsenal, Manchester City. I guess they beat Arsenal, so maybe that's not difficult. Actually, I remember captaining him in that game, and then I don't even know if Crystal
he
Palace
was the only one that didn't do well.
yeah. So I guess maybe just ignore the past month. Are we thinking anything here? 6,100 for Conor Gallagher?
No, not really. For me, he's like not even in consideration.
John
He's
Joe
okay,
Shelby?
So no, just Shelby's much cheaper. Gallagher, though, you mentioned like if Olise doesn't start, but Olise is coming on in the second half.
Yeah.
So you'll get 60 minutes of Gallagher set pieces on the road against Newcastle. He hasn't been very attacking recently, and yeah, I know they've had a tougher schedule, but he's still like more of a defensive midfielder. And that there's so many midfield options on this slate. Like, tournaments are going to be really interesting because, like we mentioned, De Bruyne, Madison, Mount, Gordon, maybe Grealish, maybe Foden, maybe Gundogan. I didn't even mention any Arsenal guys. If you wanted to go, like, there's so many options for tournaments, and that's going to lower the ownership on all of those guys. At least it should. But yeah, cheap guys, I don't know who is there. Shelby?
You can go get that one corner from John Joe Shelby, but actually he's also on set pieces in front of net, so that's definitely
right.
relevant.
And he takes any long shot he sees, he'll take it. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good call. Actually, I sort of missed him from my article because I was just looking at guys under 4K that maybe you could punt for tournaments. Iwobi, I saw 3,600.
I think Loftus-Cheek at 4,500 it depends on where he's at in the field, though. I guess he just scored after he came on for Kovacic. Yeah, I think that was Sunday in the FA Cup. But yeah, it was last week Loftus-Cheek played as a wingback, and as a wingback at 4,500, that's not the worst thing, especially at home. So I'd look at the formation. I wouldn't be as sold if he was in the midfield next to Conte or something like that. So
no, it wouldn't be as good, but you could still roster him even in the midfield. I'd prefer him on the wing, but I mean, you wouldn't know it by the fact that I think that goal was his first of the season, but he's had a lot of other chances. He has goals in him no matter where he plays. And I mean, he's always going to get forward a little bit.
the thing about him is I don't expect a goal when I play him just because I played him so last season at Fulham, it seemed like he had a good chance like every game, and I don't even think he ended with a goal for him. So I'm just
Man,
like
you're telling me. I played him on like every one of those Fulham slates, you know?
yeah,
He
yeah,
never did it. I mean, just never.
yeah, he had one goal last season.
And he had
So
so many good chances. You're right. Just game after game.
so that's kind of what I'm saying with that, but Chelsea, Fulham, different teams.
Right.
You mentioned will be 3,600
It's
like
cheap, you know?
yeah. Yeah,
And,
Schlupp is always a guy down there, 3,900.
you know, I can't. Wobie's had like some okay games recently, I feel like.
No, he has. He's one of the guys who is I don't know if it's on their Twitter account, but at least their writers are always talking up how well Iwobi and Anthony Gordon are playing, and that's why those guys are really getting minutes because they've been, Everton's best players over the past few
Yeah.
weeks. So,
Yeah. I caught a little bit of that. Iwobi. 4 straight games, 90 minutes. Yeah, I've seen him like getting praise from Everton and from other places as well.
yeah, not that he's 3,600, so it's not like we're comparing him to anyone who's
Right.
high price.
Gonna have to punt at least one place. So
Yeah, we still got Rodri down here, 4,300. Any thoughts to McAllister at 4,100 against Man City?
yeah, man, I'm just not the guy that plays guys against Manchester City. Sometimes, I mean, yeah, he's cheap. Like you can do it. I just really don't do that. To me, Manchester City at home is always keeping a clean sheet. That's just like basically how I play these slates. I'll look to get different somewhere else.
I mean, yeah, when Manchester City have 75% possession and the other team only has like 5 shots, it's kind of
Right. Like
it's kind of what you got to do.
you're really hoping for a little luck.
So defender, I'm just scrolling down. I got to scroll down through the anytime goal scorer odds just because we don't have the slate up at DraftKings. In case you're joining us middle of the show here, but defender, I think the decision here is we got Reece James at 6,500 and Marcos Alonso at 6,200. And then I guess we got to mention Cancelo, 6,700. And I also go one further. We got Target at 6,200. You're going to point out, your article is going to go up later. You pointed out Marcos Alonso at 6,200. Is he, do you think he's the cash play or who do you think is going to be the most popular? I think the most popular defender is going to be Reece James is
I
kind of what
do
I think.
too, like just slightly though. I think the popularity of the popularity of Alonso and James is starting to get closer. But yeah, so first just check the formation because Reece James was playing as the third center back against Palace in the Cup semifinal.
Yeah, check our Discord. We got you.
Yeah. So let's assume that he's back on the wing. Him and Alonso, it seems like they're going to split sets. I guess we should have said like Mount. Dude, this is the Chelsea situation. Mount sort of seems like the odd man out on sets now. If both James and Alonso are in there, I mean, who knows really? But I think James and Alonso are equal options. They're equal for me. So I highlighted Alonso because he's just a little cheaper. But I don't know. I've gone back and forth. Like at the start of the year, I was always on Reece James. Alonso seems to have been playing better recently. So if Ziyech were in there, then it would just be Reece James. Like if Ziyech is in there, I worry about Alonso's corner kicks. If Ziyech isn't in there, like I know Alonso's going to take some. And when Mount and Reece are in there, sometimes you're not even sure about Reece. So I don't know. I said in the article they're equal options. What do you think?
I'm trying to scroll back to see what the posted lineup looked like for Chelsea because when they posted it for Champions League, it was obvious that Reece James was a center back. Yeah, so unfortunately, it's not very obvious. I mean,
No, they
according to the
fooled me.
stat, I didn't see the game. Did he start more forward and then move to center back, or because in the stats it says Reece James played as a center back, but their graphic it says Azpilicueta was the center back.
I know. I don't know. Like I saw Azpilicueta was on the wing for most. I didn't see the whole match, but what I saw, he was on the wing. But I also saw Reece move to the wing. Reece was still getting forward, but it was more central. He was definitely a center back for most of the match. Yeah, I don't know, but we don't have. Maybe Azpilicueta won't start, and then it's pretty easy
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, I was going to look up some heat maps, but I
You can
guess that
also
might.
check Twitter because, like, people will be talking about how the team is warming up, and usually they're in the formation that they're going to be in.
Yeah, so target. I mean, so your strategy, you're gonna spend up on two defenders.
Not necessarily.
No, okay.
I'd like to, but
It's a little more difficult when you got Manchester City
yeah,
guys
this
at
is a
10K.
weird one. Like if you play Mahrez and one of those expensive midfielders and Anthony Gordon, I mean, you're not going to be able to spend up at both defender spots. So I'd like to, but I don't know. It seems like it, I don't know. Like I said, it'd be nice if I haven't been able to build lineups at all or look at constructions to like see what's possible. It just seems like you might not be able to.
So you got the Chelsea guys. If for some reason we don't have James as a wing back or Alonso starting, which is possible, they just played on Sunday.
Right.
Would you want Target at 6,200 over Cancelo at 6,700?
Man. No, I don't know. Like not being maybe cash game players would have a different answer than me, but Target just doesn't have upside beyond getting an assist from a corner. I mean, he had a decent game against Leicester. I'm just looking last game, 12 DraftKings points, but the 5 out of the 6 before that, he only scored 7 points once. I mean, 7, 5, 6, 5, 6. Yeah, no, I'll take Cancelo all day. I mean, what do you think?
I will point out, like we're looking at these recent games here, but Newcastle played away from home for 4 straight. They're at Tottenham, at Everton, at Chelsea, at Southampton. So like you have that in there. You also have the fact that Ryan Fraser was playing in those games.
All good points, yeah. And they won a bunch of those games like 1-0, which isn't great for Target getting a bunch of set pieces either.
Yeah, he basically had a good game on Sunday because Leicester scored first, and then I feel like after that Leicester goal, Newcastle just pushed the rest of the way, and then they finally got the winner.
Yeah, so that's a really tough question. Actually, my opinion will be it's tough for me not to take Cancelo for basically the same price. I don't know. Target, he just doesn't do anything in open play. You're relying so much on sets, which is fine. But again, I'm a tournament player. I'm looking for 25 points, 20 points, goals, assists. And sure, like Target has some assist upside, but
just staying with Newcastle here, there's a chance Jacob Murphy starts in Ryan Fraser / Miguel Almiron's spot. He's 5,000, listed as defender. He previously did this, I think. I don't know if Ryan Fraser is playing midfield. I can't remember, but he's done this before. So it's a short week. There's a chance he starts. So it's not crazy to suggest that he's going to play as a right-sided forward at 5,000.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that'd be a good option. I'd be okay with that for tournaments. Might be able to afford James or Alonso, and 5K for Murphy. That seems more doable. Could pair him with Chris Wood. That seems decent too. Yeah, I'd have interest.
Yeah, and then otherwise, you just go down to I mean, you're either going to spend kind of in the upper range on two defenders, or you're going to go down to the bottom. We got Nathan Ake possibly playing as a fullback in place of Kyle Walker. We don't know exactly what Pep's going to do, but Zinchenko started there, and he's 5,400, so it's a little different with him. But he started there on Saturday. I mean, otherwise, I guess we got some cheaper center backs. Like Silva is down here. Where's our guy Rudiger at?
Way
4,600.
up
Oh
there
my
because he scores every week, man.
god! Wow.
He's too good. I mean, remember back when he was like 2,900?
I'm definitely playing him now. No one's gonna
Now
have him.
no one's gonna play him.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, we got.
Yeah. I think you just go with Ake. Seems pretty likely that he's going to start at left back. I mean, Kyle Walker's out. Zinchenko, can't really see him starting again after he played against Liverpool. Ake's been okay there. Pep's played him there before. 3,100. Can't really go wrong, I feel like, with 3,100 left back Ake.
Yeah, I mean, you got the best clean sheet odds, 58% with Manchester City,
You
and you're
got
paying
the best clean sheet
3,100.
odds. Maybe him being left back adds a point or two to his floor. You know, he's good at attacking corners as well. City score from set pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, so speaking of the clean sheet odds, Manchester City all the way up there. Do we even have goalkeeper pricing here? No, I'm thinking
No.
this. Well, what are your thoughts for the goalkeeper? We assume Ederson's going to be 5,900.
Yeah.
Are you going to have enough money for him?
That's the thing. I think he's a good option, but are you going to have the money? You might, if you don't roster Mahrez or De Bruyne, or I think it's fine to spend up for Ederson. The clean sheet odds are pretty good. I mean, they're going up and up now. I see 50, almost 58%. Brighton have struggled scoring for most of the season. If I can't afford Ederson, like, who are the best underdogs? Is it Palace or Leicester? Maybe Schmeichel and Gaeta will be in the mid 4K range probably.
All right, so I pulled up our optimizer and I got the prices here for us. So
Okay.
of course, we got Ederson 5,900. We got Mendy at 5,300. Pickford is 4,900. Dubravka is also 4,900. Schmeichel 46. Guaita 45. Ramsdale 42, and Sanchez 36.
Okay, so actually, Schmeichel and Gaeta are priced pretty closely to Pickford and Dubravka, right?
Yeah, Schmeichel 46, and those other guys 49.
Yeah, I like those 4,900 guys. I like Pickford and Dubravka, just if whichever lineup it makes sense. And if I don't have Palace, yeah, I don't mind Dubravka. If I don't have Leicester, don't mind Pickford. I don't know. What do you think?
I'd probably lean. I don't want to trust Everton's defense against this Leicester
Against
attack.
anyone.
Yeah, against anyone, but it seems like for the most part that Leicester score at least one goal every game.
Yeah, you're
And
right. And Palace struggle, and Newcastle's been just red hot for so long. So Dubravka makes a lot of sense.
yeah, so I'd look at Dubravka there. Would I look at Schmeichel? Probably not if they're only 300 difference compared to Dubravka there. What we got? 33%, 34%.
I don't mind Schmeichel if I'm gonna maybe have Madison instead of Gordon.
True.
Or maybe if I'm gonna have Iheanacho, then I don't mind. But yeah, I'm with you. I prefer the home keepers.
I think Ramsdale will get some looks just for people that are fading Chelsea. I think that'll definitely be a popular route because you're going to have the Man City guys, and then you're going to get down to goalkeeper and be like, okay, well, why don't I just go with Ramsdale down here because I don't have any of the Chelsea attackers. So
yeah, I think that makes sense too. Ramsdale is fine.
yeah, are you coming to Sanchez at 3,600. Would you play him with a couple Man City guys?
No, it's not really something I do on 4-game slates. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. Like, there's always a chance that none of these teams keep clean sheets. Or even, say Ederson can score 10 or 12. And we know Sanchez can still score 8, 10 points and get scored on a couple times, but it's not really something I do. If I faded City, or if maybe I just had De Bruyne as my only City guy, then I don't mind it. Punting keeper, there's a lot to spend for on this slate. So punting keeper does make sense.
Yeah, just looking at the last game, Sanchez made 8 saves when he allowed 4 against Man City. About a month ago, when he gave up 2 goals to Liverpool, he made 7 saves.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. If you told me he was guaranteed 8 points, I mean, I'd
No,
roster him.
I'm just saying. I'm giving some examples. I
No,
mean,
that's good. You're right.
it,
Like, he should face a lot of shots. He should score. He should make some saves.
I do want to say that Tottenham were playing like the best team in the league, and he didn't have to make a save last game against them. That's the one
Yeah, that
thing
was
that
crazy.
that's the one thing. It's like, okay,
City are
well,
different, but
still got
I
yeah,
know.
still got the winning clean sheet. But yeah, unfortunately, it's not doesn't feel as fun to talk about the slate without putting together our own lineups here. But
Yeah, it's just tough because it's tough to know what constructions work. Like, I
yeah,
didn't get out a pad and paper and write down what can work or not, but
right.
still.
Yeah, does anyone stand out to you that's not on Man City that you're gonna maybe focus on some of your tournament lineups with? Anthony Gordon, is he your guy that stands out, or what
Yeah,
do we like?
definitely Gordon. Um, I have some interest in Richarlison as well. Um, yeah,
I do want to point out Dubravka
that's
hasn't
why I'm
made.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
but Dubravka hasn't made more than 2 saves in his last 5 matches. I do want to point that out because I was looking at a route that involved like Zaha and Mateta or something, but it just doesn't seem like Newcastle are allowing a ton of opportunities with the way they're playing right now. So
Yeah. No, that's a good point. They've been playing well. I don't expect Palace to have too many opportunities. So yeah, like, I don't want those Palace guys, I'm not really gonna roster my Arsenal guys. I'll be happy enough if they somehow manage to win, that I don't need to gamble on them in DFS. Not that they can't score for the most part recently.
Leicester had 0.61 expected goals and Wolves had 0.30 expected goals. Those are the last 2 home matches for Newcastle.
That's pretty
So
good.
yeah,
So Dubravka, yeah.
that's
Oh yeah, Chris Wood, I guess, guys that I'm gonna roster. Yeah, I like Richarlison, Gordon, Chris Wood.
Ooh. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Gordon. So I did a short little show.
Remember last time? Remember last time we touted Gordon?
He was awesome.
Didn't he have like a bracer? Yeah, he was awesome. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested to see what this Leicester lineup looks like. They haven't been rotating like Mendy and Tielemans and those guys, so I'm interested to see there. But
So yeah,
I
that's, like you said, that's part of the reason I like Everton a little more. I mean, Everton have been so bad, even under Lampard, but that win against United should be a boost. And Leicester have just been playing so many games, playing those meaningless Thursday games. I mean, I shouldn't say meaningless, but like, I didn't
harsh.
even know they were going on for the most part.
Oh, I definitely bet those games.
Okay. Well, nice. But it just makes me like Everton a little bit more. I mean,
It doesn't worry you that Fofana and Johnny Evans are healthy again, and they're
uh,
better center backs than the other guys.
they are. I'm a big fan of Fofana. He's got big potential. Yeah, he's really good. But no, doesn't overly worry me. I mean,
Fine. All right. I did a short little show. If you're looking for Liverpool Manchester United showdown content, do you have any thoughts on this slate? How do you want to look at Manchester United for this game without Ronaldo? Are you looking at, like, if you do like a 5-1 lineup with Liverpool? Like, who is anyone enticing on Liverpool here? I mean, sorry, Manchester United.
Yeah, now without Ronaldo, it seems like United might be in trouble. I mean, is anyone enticing? Tellus is who I'd want to run it back with, ideally, on 5-1 stacks. Now that will be the most popular run back, I'd
Right.
assume.
Yeah.
So, like, moving away from Tellus, I don't mind 5-1 stacks where you run it back with just De Gea. I think that's a decent option.
Is there any consideration to playing Bruno at a higher price? I believe he's 8,600,
just because it'll be.
8,400.
Yep. Yeah. That's, I was going to mention that too. I don't mind that with, no, I think that'll be the less popular route. So I think that makes sense.
Right.
So what you think? Most people are going to 5-1 stack this, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the implied goal total right now; it's 2.27 to 0.9. And I think that's kind of kind. I mean,
what's the front three going to be? Yeah, I think so too. What's the front three going to be for United?
We don't really know what they're going to do. So the thing with them, they went 4-3-3 against Norwich last game, and in prior games that Ronaldo didn't start, Bruno Fernandes played as a forward, but they don't have McTominay or Fred, so they still need like a defensive midfielder if they do like a 4-2-3-1. So we don't really know. Like, Lingard could start again, Pogba could be an attacking midfielder. So
based on that lineup, I'll have some Rashford captains. He's been in awful form, but he's cheap. If I'm going to captain a United player, I want it to be a cheap goal scorer. You can captain De Gea as well, but it seems pretty unlikely that they're going to.
What do you think happens in a Rashford captain lineup? Like a 3-2 loss and Rashford gets 2 goals? Like, I don't know. Like,
no, it's just that he's cheap. You just need him to score 1 goal. It could be the first goal. It could be like a consolation goal in the second half. It doesn't really matter.
But then you're getting the 3 Liverpool forwards, basically.
Or 2 of them, and Trent and A-Rob. Like, the ideal thing, just in general, I like the construction of captaining a cheap underdog goal scorer in hopes that, they score early, and then all your expensive guys are going to get there. And it's the only way to afford all the expensive guys, and it's the best way for them all to score a ton of floor points. So, like, it just makes sense. Yeah, Rashford or whoever the underdog is, they're not going to score a lot. It's not going to work out like that often. But when it works out, like, it's not that hard for the rest of your lineup to work out. You might want De Gea in that lineup too. You might not. Like, De Gea doesn't need to keep a clean sheet to be in these winning showdown lineups. He's going to face shots, and he's cheap.
All right, there you go. There you have it. Rashford captain for the win, for the title.
Yeah, if anybody's listening to this live, rather than.
We got a few live listeners here.
No, I know. Hopefully Rashford scores now.
And Gordon.
If he even starts, Gordon.
Yeah, we still don't know what they're going to look like, so there's that. But, we've been talking Wednesday's 4-game slate at DraftKings. Ryan, you can find him at Ryan Belongia. I am at Roto Zdroik. And I've been using cheat sheets. I got this one pulled up for the showdown today, and then I got the other one.
Real quick, there's one other thing you could do. Sorry to interrupt you, but I saw Naby Keita's 3,400, Jordan Henderson's 3,200. That's like minimum price. All they need to do is assist to Salah, Mane, or Jota, and then you can afford a much different team if you captain one of those mid-price guys. So that's the construction for like a 3-0, 4-0, where you just need an assist from one of those cheap guys, and all the other guys score goals. So that might be something different you could try.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the short show I did. Also, you got Van Dyke down there at 3,200. So
Hmm.
you got a bunch of Liverpool guys who are minimum price. So it's actually not the hardest lineup to construct, even though you got all the high end guys. It's just because
Nice.
those guys are cheap. Just because like you have the Ronaldo on the other team who are like you need the cheap guys to actually make a lineup. So, but yeah, rotowire.com/soccer trial, free 10-day trial. You can get all this stuff. I was also using the optimizer earlier to find our goalkeeper pricing. So we got that as well. If you want to check that out. But that's it, Ryan. We'll be back on what, Friday. We'll be back Friday. We got a bunch of other shows. I'll probably do another short. Got the big Southampton Burnley showdown on Thursday. I'll probably do something for that. And then we got Kits and Wagers again. I think that will be Thursday as well. But Ryan, thanks for joining me. Everyone, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you all later this week.
Thanks, Adam. Good luck, everybody.